Welcome to this course. In this course, you will learn more than 80 tools of Adobe Illustrator CC 2018. My name is Devrishi and I will be your instructor for this course. Although I am a software engineer, but from the beginning, I have an inclination toward graphic designing, and Illustrator is my friend since. I have used Illustrator for game asset designing, website designing, and mobile UI designing. I believe once you master the tools of Illustrator, then the only limit is your imagination. In this course, I will cover all the tools that are part of Illustrator from the basics. The list of tools that you will learn in this course are grouped as selection tools, type tools, reshaping tools, symbol tools, drawing tools, painting tools, graph tools, slicing and cutting tools, and moving and zooming tools. There are many tools inside these groups which I will cover throughout the series in detail. In this course, you will also learn how to use the tools creatively to make great looking graphics easily. Not only you will learn about the working of the tools, you will also learn advanced customization options that can further boost up your productivity. After completing this course, you will become comfortable in using all the tools of Illustrator and can venture into any realm of graphic designing. With that said, I once again welcome you all to this course and extend my gratitude to all. Before we start learning about the tools in Illustrator, let's first learn how to draw some basic shapes. In the toolbox here, click on this button which has a sign of square in it. Notice the cursor changes into crosshair, giving you an indication that the tool has been selected. Now move the cursor to the desired location and then click and hold and drag to create a rectangular shape. This rectangle has a fill of white color. Let's change it to some interesting color. Double click on this fill here to open the color picker. You can click on this slider to locate the color that you want. Let's go for red color and press OK. Now our rectangle has a nice red color. There is another way to draw shapes in Illustrator. Let's click on the artboard to bring up the dialog box. Here you can precisely control the size of the object. Let's create a 100 pixel by 100 pixel square. It's very unlikely that you will always draw square and rectangles. Don't worry, there are some other shapes that you can also draw. Notice a small arrow here. Just click and hold your mouse to bring up other shapes option. Now click on this line at the end of this box to pop open this dialog box. Now you can create a rounded rectangle. Now let's create a rounded rectangle. Let's change the color of this to orange. Now click on swashes and choose a nice orange color. Now let's create a circle. Select the circle tool and drag to make an ellipse shape. If you press Shift on the keyboard while dragging, you will get a perfect circle. Alternatively, if you press Alt key in Windows or Option key in Mac, you will draw a circle from its center. This is sometimes useful to create a border effect. I will show you later. Now let's create a polygon. Choose the polygon tool and create a polygon. Suppose I want to draw a triangle. I can do this using the polygon tool itself. Click anywhere in the artboard and enter 3 in the sides text box and click OK. You'll get a triangle. If you take your cursor just a bit outside the bounding box, you will notice that the cursor changes. Now you can rotate the shape if you like. Just click and hold and move the cursor to rotate the object. Now finally, let's create a star. Choose star in the toolbox and click anywhere, and let's give it 10 points and now press OK. You'll get a star. Now that you have learned how to draw some basic shapes, we'll start learning about the different type of powerful tools that Illustrator provides from the next section onwards. Selection tool allows you to select object or shapes or any artwork that you do in Illustrator. Here I have different shapes that I have created using the basic shapes tool that I have showed you in my previous video. All the shapes are made of square, rectangle, circle, etc. I'm going to move these shapes to create this cartoon figure. In order to move or change the size or rotate an object, you first need to select it. And this is done by the selection tool, which is located first in the toolbox here. It's sometimes also called as black arrow tool. The shortcut to access this tool is letter V on the keyboard. Knowing commonly used shortcut in Illustrator can be really helpful, and it will definitely increase your productivity in the long run. Now, after clicking on this selection tool button, let's select this blue rectangle. Just click anywhere inside the box to select it. Once the object is selected, you will see a bounding box around it, signifying that the object is selected. Now click, hold and drag to the desired location to move the box, and then let go of the mouse. In the bounding box, you will see these square points. Just click and drag to change the size of the box. Notice there are 4 circular dots inside this square box. These are used to round the corner of the square. You can click, hold and drag to change the corner of this box. Now let's move this box to its place. Now that you know how to select a single object, let's learn how to select multiple objects. It's easy. Just click, hold and draw a marquee around the object that you want to select, and all the object inside the marquee will be selected. You can even rotate the entire selection if you like. Now let's assemble the individual shape to create our cartoon. Click to select and move the shape to the right position. I have created all the shapes using just the basic shapes, that is square, rectangle or circle. You will find when you select the eyes, both the eyes are selected. This is because they are in groups, which is nothing but collections of objects. You can right click and click ungroup if you like to ungroup the object. Groups in Illustrator means collection of objects that are bind together. When you work with complex shapes in Illustrator, you will find easier to work if you group objects. Grouping allows you to move, scale, rotate and even change many properties to affect multiple objects that are part of a group at the same time. Let me show you an example. I have drawn some shapes here which are part of a human stick figure. Notice the stick figure is made up of basic shape like rounded rectangle and circle, and the legs and hand are made up of 2 separate rounded rectangle. Now, if I want to move the hand, I have to select both the rounded rectangle and then move. So in such case, when 2 or more shapes combines to create one final shape, I can group them together. Then if I want to move the shape, I can move both of them together. So let's group this arm. Select both the arm using the selection tool. You need to press shift key to select both of them and right click and choose group. Or you can alternatively press command plus G on your keyboard to group them. Now notice when I select this arm, I am selecting both of them. Now if I move them, both will move. I can even change the color of this arm if I like. If you want to ungroup the object, i.e. to make them individual again, you can right click on the group and select ungroup. Now let's learn about the group selection tool. I now know that these 2 arms are in a group, and let's say I want to change the color of this lower arm only. So if I try to select this using my normal selection tool, which you can access by pressing V on your keyboard, I will be selecting the entire group. But if I double click on this group, I will enter into what is called a isolation mode. I now can select individual part of the group and work with them. But there is an easy way to do this. Use the group selection tool. Now choose the group selection tool and now click on the part of the group that you want to select. Now you can select any part of the group as if they are individual shapes. Now let's group the rest of the shape together and arrange them to make the stick figure. So to sum up, the group selection tool allows you to work with object and shape that are part of a group, and group is a collection of shapes or object. Now let's learn about the magic wand tool in Illustrator. The magic wand is also a selection tool which selects objects with similar attributes like fill and stroke color or stroke weight or opacity. The magic wand is used for advanced selection. You will see this next. I have different circles drawn on the artboard here. If you look at these circles, you will see that These circles have different properties, like some are of same fill, some has a different stroke color, some are transparent. If suppose I want to select those circle which has a fill of blue color, then I can go around and select each one of them using the selection tool, but this is tedious and very time consuming. So this is where magic wand tool comes in handy. You can find the magic wand right below the selection tool. It kinda look like a magic wand and it indeed work like that. Now go and double click on it. You will get a pop-up box showing various options like fill color, stroke weight. As I've told you that magic wand select object with similar attribute like fill and stroke color, stroke weight, opacity. That is why these options are shown. Now let's select those circles that have same fill color. Tick this checkbox and click on the blue circle here. You will find that all the circle with the blue fill are selected. You can move them if you like. Now let's select those circles with the same stroke color. Check the stroke color and now select. You will find all the circle with a black stroke are selected. You can repeat for stroke weight and opacity like this. Suppose you want to select those circles that has a similar fill color and stroke color. Just tick the fill color and stroke color and now let's click on this blue circle. You will see that this blue circle is not selected, although it has a fill of blue. This happens because the magic wand tool select those circles where both the condition is met, i.e. the fill is the same and the stroke color is the same. So here although the fill is same but the stroke color is different, that's why it is not selected. You can see how powerful the magic wand tool is. You can customize it however you like to fine tune your selection. Lasso tool is also a selection tool which allows you to select using a freehand shape. Go on and select the lasso tool. Now if you just click on the object to select, it won't work. But if you click and drag, you can draw. Now let's select this shape. Just draw around it to select it. One thing to note, you don't have to draw a closed path around the object as we did in this case. If you only create an open path, then also Illustrator will infer that you want to select the object and it will select the object. Just like the direct selection tool which you can use to select single or multiple anchor point, you can select a single anchor point or a multiple anchor point using the lasso tool as well. Lasso tool will be helpful when you are dealing with complex shape. Say for example, I want to select this anchor point only. To do this, I have two options. One is direct selection tool which you can access by pressing letter A on your keyboard, or you can use the lasso tool to select it. Illustrator provides you with different selection tool like direct selection tool, magic wand, but it's up to you to decide what tool best suits you in your condition. In any vector program, one tool that always stands out is the pen tool. Pen tool allows you to draw your own shape. Using a pen tool, you can create your own anchor point and can create complex illustration, typography, cartoons, logos, and much more. The pen tool is very powerful and it is located here in the toolbox. You can alternatively press P on your keyboard to access it. If you just click and hold here, you will get more tools like add anchor point, delete anchor point, convert anchor point. I will discuss each one of them later, but first let me introduce you to the pen tool. The pen tool allows you to create two types of shape. One is open shape and other is closed shape. Let's first learn to draw a open shape. Select the pen tool or press P on the keyboard. Now you'll see that the cursor changes to a shape of a pen with an asterisk symbol underneath. This gives you an indication that the pen is ready to draw. Now click here. You will notice a new anchor point is created. And now click here to make a line. You will notice the pen tool is still drawing. So to end the drawing, press return or enter on the keyboard or choose another tool. But it's easy to press return, so I'll do that here and a line is created. You can also create a straight line if you hold shift while you draw like this. You can click anywhere on the artboard to create the shape you like. Now let's learn how to create a closed shape using the pen tool, and let's make a triangle. Just click anywhere and press shift to draw a straight line. Now click here. You can even hold shift to draw a line at a 45-degree angle. Now finally, to close the shape, move the cursor at this anchor point and you will notice a small circle underneath the cursor. It tells you that the shape will be closed, and when you click, the shape is closed and the cursor changes to asterisk, which tells you that the pen tool is ready again to draw another shape. As you know that the shapes are made of anchor point which are joined together to create the shapes. Using the pen tool, you can add new anchor point to already created path if you like. Let's learn how to add new anchor point. Let's draw a line using the pen tool. The line has two anchor point as you can see. Now say I want to add another anchor point in the middle of this line. I can very easily do this using the pen tool itself. Just select the shape first and then press P to select the pen tool. Take your pen to the desired location, and when you see a plus sign, just click. This adds a new anchor point in the path. You can also add a new anchor point using the Add Anchor Point tool, which can be found when you click and hold over here. Or you can alternatively press plus sign on the keyboard to activate it. You can manipulate this anchor point if you like. Just choose the direct selection tool and move the point as you like. Deleting an anchor point is also similar. Just move the pen tool over the point that you want to delete and click when the cursor shows a minus sign. Or you can also use the delete anchor point tool. Press minus on the keyboard to access it and move to the anchor point that you want to delete and click on it to delete it. Now let's learn how to draw curves using the pen tool. Start by clicking anywhere on the artboard and now take the cursor to about here and hold the left mouse button and drag to create a curve. You will notice these extra lines. These are called direction lines which control the direction of the curve. You can adjust these to shape your curve however you like. Now let's draw some shapes to show you the working of direction line. First, let's draw a circle. Start by clicking anywhere and move the cursor to about here. Now click and drag to show the direction line, and now drag until the left direction line is perpendicular to the starting point. You can press Shift to constrain the dragging in a straight line and click here to create the semicircle. Now move the cursor to about here and click and drag while holding Shift until you are here and release the mouse button. Now join the circle by clicking here. I know it's not a perfect circle, but I wanted to show you how you can use even the pen tool to create a circle. Now let's draw a flower. Start by clicking anywhere and move the cursor to about here. Don't release the mouse button, otherwise you will end up having a line. Keep holding your left mouse button and drag to show the direction line. Now when you reach here, press Alt or Option key on the keyboard and move the direction line to about here. And now finish the shape by clicking here. You get a nice flower petal. I am going to duplicate this petal. Make sure you are in a selection mode. Press V on the keyboard to activate the selection tool and take your mouse over the shape and now press Alt or Option. You will see the cursor changes to 2 cursor. Now drag. A duplicate copy of the shape is created. Position it here and again repeat the step to create 2 more petals. Let's give it some color and a beautiful flower is created. I will show you one more shape by creating a heart. Click and hold your mouse button and drag to show the direction line. Don't release the mouse and now press Alt or Option in your keyboard and move this direction line to about here, like a V shape. Now come to this position and click, hold and drag and press Alt or the Option key on the keyboard and move the direction line to here. Again click and hold the mouse button and drag and let go to create the shape. Let's give it a red color. You can access the anchor point tool when you click and hold over the pen tool, or you can press Shift C to activate it. The anchor point tool is used to convert curve point to smooth point and vice versa. You can very easily make curves using the anchor point tool. Let's convert a line to a curve using the anchor point tool. Draw a line using the pen tool first and now select the anchor point tool or press Shift C. Now take your mouse over to the middle of this line, and when the cursor shows a curved line underneath, just drag in any direction to make the curve. Here 2 direction lines are created which you can move to make any custom curve like this. See how easy it is to create curve using the anchor point tool. Now I will show you how you can convert smooth point into curve point or sharp point. Let's draw an ellipse. Press L on the keyboard or switch to circle tool. And now draw an ellipse. Now select the anchor point tool and move the cursor over the top anchor point in the ellipse, and when you see a white box, just click to convert the smooth point into curve point. Let's convert the bottom anchor point as well. Now our ellipse is taking the shape of a flower petal. Let's make a flower out of this. Just duplicate the shape and arrange the shape like this to make a simple flower. As the name itself suggests, the type on a path tool is used to write on top of any path. It is somewhat similar to area type tool, but unlike area type tool, which can be used to fit in text inside the shape you draw, the type on a path tool will let you write the text on the path of the shape. Let me show an example. Just draw a circle using the ellipse tool, and now select the type on a path tool and click on the path. Now you can write over the path, and when you are done, press escape to commit the change. After you press escape, you will see these two lines, which are diagonally opposite to each other. These lines control the movement of the text which is written on the path. Just take your mouse cursor over to this line, and when the cursor changes to show this icon, click and hold the mouse button and move the mouse to align your text however you like. You can even move the text inside this shape using this line if you like. Just move your cursor inward while you keep holding the mouse button, and now the text is inside the shape. If you double click on the type on a path tool icon in the toolbar, it will bring up a dialog box which can be used to customize the text written on the path. You can cycle between different type of effects and adjust the spacing between the text using this dialog box. Not only the type on a path tool works on basic shapes like rectangles, circles, you can draw any shape you like and can use this tool on it. So far we have learned about the type tool, the area type tool, and the type on a path tool. But you will also find other variant of the type tool in the dialog box that pop up when you click and hold the mouse button on the type tool icon on the toolbar. These are vertical type tool, vertical area type tool, vertical type tool on a path tool. First we are going to look into the vertical type tool. The vertical type tool is like the type tool, but using this you can write vertically on the artboard. Just click anywhere and start writing, and whatever you write will be written vertically and not horizontally like the type tool. Similarly, the vertical area type tool is like the area type tool, but only with a difference. The difference is that you can write vertically inside any shape or object that you draw using the vertical area type tool. So if you draw a circle and click on its path, you can write vertically inside the circle. And the last variant is vertical type on a path tool. Using this tool, you can write vertically on any path that you draw. It is similar to type on a path tool, but unlike the type on a path tool which you use to write horizontally, the vertical type on a path tool will let you to write vertically on the path. In this video, I will cover the tools which can be used to draw some basic shapes in Illustrator, and these are grouped here under the line segment tool. The first is the line segment tool. The line segment tool allows you to draw a simple straight line. So just click anywhere on the artboard and move the cursor, and when you release the mouse button, the line will be drawn. You can change the size of this line if you click on this white square and drag. You can also rotate the line if you like. Just take your cursor a little bit away from this white square, and when you see a rotation handle, just move with your mouse to rotate the line. You can press shift while drawing the line. This will make a straight 180-degree line. And if you want to make a diagonal line, then while holding the shift key, just move the cursor a bit up and you will get a perfect 45-degree angle line. When you draw a line, if you press Alt key in Windows or Option key in Mac, then the line will be drawn from the center and stretches outward. So if you press both the Alt key and the Shift key, the line will be drawn from the center and it will be a straight line. These modifier keys, i.e. the Shift key and the Alt key, works with pretty much all the shapes and perform the same function. That is drawing something straight or drawing something from the center. You can also draw a line by just clicking anywhere on the artboard. Make sure you select the line segment tool first and then click anywhere on the artboard. A dialog box will pop up and here you can specify the length, angle of the line to be drawn and the stroke color. You can increase the stroke color of the line from the property panel or here in the control section at the top. If you don't see this control bar, then go to Windows and click on Control. In this control bar, you can change the fill, stroke, stroke weight, shape, style, opacity, etc. about the object that is currently selected. So next we are going to learn about the arc tool. The rectangular grid tool is used to draw grids, rectangular grids. This tool is also grouped with the line segment tool. So select the tool and click and drag to create the rectangular grid. This rectangular grid consists of rows and column. You can control the number of rows if you press the up and down arrow key while drawing the grid. And pressing right and left arrow key will let you control the number of column of the grid. Remember one thing, the up, down and right, left arrow key will work while you are drawing the shape. But if you release the mouse and commit the shape, then these key will not work. So while drawing the shape, you have to press the right, left or up or down arrow key to make the changes. Now there are another modifier key which can be used in the rectangular grid tool, and these are X and C, letter X and C on the keyboard. So if you press X while drawing the grid, you can skew the column to the left hand side, and if you press C key, you can skew the column to the right hand side. Similarly, if you press V on the keyboard, you can move the row up, and if you press F on the keyboard, you can move the row downward. The polar grid tool is used to create concentric circles of a specified size and specific number of concentric and radial dividers. The polar grid tool is located here, is also grouped with the line tool. So select this tool and click and drag to create the polar grid. You can press Shift to constrain the size or press Alt to draw from the center. Now there are certain modifier keys which can be used with the polar grid tool as well. So while drawing the polar grid, if you press up and down key, it will increase or decrease the concentric circle count. And if you press the right or left arrow key, it will increase or decrease the divider line, as you can see here. The concentric circles and the divider line here are part of a group. So if you want to manipulate individual concentric circle inside the shape, you can use the group selection tool, which is located here on the toolbar, to select that individual shape in the polar grid. So select the group selection tool and click on individual shape to select it, and you can change these however you like. You can also create the polar grid by just clicking once on the artboard and specifying properties like width, height, how many concentric dividers you like, and how many radial dividers you like. You can even fill the grid if you click on this fill grid checkbox and press OK to make the grid. The paintbrush tool allows you to draw brush stroke on the artboard. The paintbrush tool works like a real brush and can work exactly like that. If you have a Wacom tablet, you can create any graphics using the paintbrush tool. It is located here on the toolbox directly below the shape tool. So to draw a brush stroke, just select the tool and draw directly on the artboard. You can select the style of the brush. To do this, first go to Windows and then choose Brushes to open up the brush panel. Here you can select different style of the brush, and also you can create your own custom brush if you like. Click on this 3 line here and select New Brush to bring up the New Brush dialog box. Here you can choose from different style. Select the calligraphic brush. The calligraphic brush can be either round or elliptical. Click OK and you will be presented with this dialog box. Here you can name your brush, let's say my brush. This circle here can be used to adjust the roundness of the brush. And as I've told you that the calligraphic brush can be either round or elliptical. So this circle can be used to adjust the roundness of that brush. Just drag this handle to shape the brush however you like. You will see a preview of the modification that you are doing to your brush in this box. You can also change the angle of the brush by dragging this arrow. Now you can customize the brush even further. Let's say you want to change the size of the brush based on the pressure you applied on the stylus, that is on the Wacom tablet. You can do this easily. Click here and choose pressure, and let's say we give it a value 30, and we'll set the variation to maximum. The maximum value here will be up to the size of the brush, that is, if you apply very little pressure, the brush size will be close to 0. But if you apply more pressure, then the brush size will be up to 30. This will work only if you have a drawing tablet. Now if I draw and put pressure, you will see the stroke changes according to the pressure. Now when you draw, you will notice that Illustrator smooths out the stroke automatically. You can further control the smoothness of the brush by double clicking on the brush button here on the toolbar. And now here you can set the smoothness either to low or maximum. When the smoothness is set to maximum, the brush stroke will be as smooth as possible. And when you want to have more control on the smoothness of the brush, you can set the smoothness to low. So if you decrease the smoothness, and when you draw, the stroke will match exactly how you draw. Not only you can draw basic brush stroke using the paintbrush tool, you can also apply brush stroke to existing path lines as well. That is, you can apply brush stroke to existing shapes. Like if you have a triangle or a rectangle, you can apply the brush stroke on them. So here I have a square shape and I want to apply a brush stroke to it. So first select the path using the selection tool, and then in the brushes panel, if you click on this icon, you will find different type of brushes that Illustrator ships with. These are library brush. You can choose from a wide range here. You can also navigate between different style by clicking on this forward or backward button to see all the library brush available to you at once. Let's go for border and border decorative and choose this brush. See how the brush stroke is applied on the square. You can even further customize this stroke if you like. So click on this icon to open up a dialog box where you can change the direction of the brush, size of the brush, and much more. Shaper tool is very powerful and handy tool when it comes to creating shapes. The Shaper tool is capable of recognizing gestures and convert them into shapes. It is located here on the toolbar, or you can alternatively press Shift N to select it. Now to draw some basic shapes like circle, triangle, square, you just need to draw a rough sketch on the artboard using the Shaper tool, and if Illustrator recognizes the gesture, it will create the shape. So let's draw some basic shapes. To draw a circle, just create a rough sketch and Illustrator will convert it into a circle. Similarly, you can draw a triangle, rectangle, polygon, ellipse, or line. The capability of the Shaper tool extends even further. You can also delete shape that you have drawn with the Shaper tool. Just scribble over the shape that you want to delete and the shape will be deleted. The shapes drawn with the Shaper tool are live shape, so you can dynamically adjust them. That is, you can edit the shape on the fly. Just click on the shape that you want to edit with the Shaper tool selected, and now you can edit the shape. If you drag this handle, you can increase or decrease the number of sides. You can even round off the corner by dragging this circle. You can scale the shape or even delete some portion of the shape. So if I drag this handle, I can create a cut in this ellipse. Similarly, I can round the corner of a square if I like. The feature that I like the most about the Shaper tool is its ability to unite or divide shapes. So if I draw a square and an ellipse and move the ellipse over the square and scribble over the boundary where the ellipse and square meet, I can unite both the shapes together. Likewise, I can unite even two circles or any other shape that I like. You just need to scribble over the boundary where the two shapes meet and the shape will be united. You can also divide or delete parts of a shape. To show you this, here I have 4 shapes made with a square, circle, and a rounded rectangle. So in the first shape, if I want to remove this center circle, I can just scribble over it to remove the circle. Note here that the part of the circle which is on top of this blue square is not removed and it gets merged with the square. Similarly, I can remove the intersecting area by scribbling on this part. I can remove the square and the rounded rectangle like this. Note here, since the blue square is below the circle, that's why you don't see any blue on this circle. Likewise, I can unite the object by scribbling over the two objects. So to unite it, I have to scribble over the blue square and the circle. That is, you need to scribble on both the object that you want to unite. Now to delete a part of the shape, just scribble over the part that you want to delete. Note here, I just scribble on the yellow part and that part is removed. So this is all about the shaper tool. Next we are going to learn about the pencil tool. The join tool can be used to join paths. Here in this artboard, I have drawn some shapes and I have deleted some segments using the path eraser tool. Now if I want to join this segment, I can use the join tool. The join tool is located in the group of shaper tool. So if you click and hold, you can get access to it. Now what you need to do is just click and drag, and as you drag, you will see this blue line. Now take this line to here and release the mouse button to join these 2 points. Similarly, I am going to join these shapes as well. Just drag from one point to another point to join the two paths. You can create some fancy shapes using this tool alone. Just a tip, use the pen tool and this tool to create some floral design. In the next video, we are going to learn about the eraser tool. The eraser tool lets you erase any part or area from your artwork. It is located here on the toolbar, or you can press Shift E to select it. So let's draw a rectangle and give a fill to it. And now if I want to erase some part of this, I can very easily do it. Select the eraser tool and just drag over the area that you want to erase. The shapes that you get after using the eraser tool are individual shapes. So you can select these shapes using the selection tool and can modify them. Not only I can create straight cut, I can even draw custom shapes like say zigzag line to cut this circle. You can also erase in a straight line. For this, you need to press the shift key while dragging like this. You can even cut diagonally at a 45-degree angle by keeping the shift key pressed and drag diagonally. Here also you can modify any shape individually. Now if you press Alt or Option key on Mac, then you can create a region that can be used as an eraser. So if I press the Option key and drag, I can create a region. And when you release the mouse, that specific region will get removed from the shape. You can change the color of this new shape if you like. Double clicking on the eraser icon on the toolbar will bring up the customization dialog box, where you can set the angle of the eraser, size of the eraser, or roundness of the eraser. If you press the bracket key, which is located next to the letter P on the keyboard, you can change the brush size. So this is a very handy shortcut. Now you can use this eraser tool creatively. Let's design a sliced text. Here I am going to use the type tool to write the letter S. So let's scale it a bit. Now copy this S and paste and change it to T and place the T below S to about here. Now before erasing some parts of this text, you need to convert this letter to artwork. And how you can do this? First select both the letter using the selection tool and now right click and then choose create outline. This will change the text into artwork which you can edit. So now select the eraser tool and now change the size to about this and swipe up. Then use the pen tool to draw a line in between these two shapes. You can also use the line tool to create the line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the stroke of this line and adjust the shape to get the sliced text. The mesh tool allows you to create mesh object, which consists of mesh lines, and these line crisscrosses the object. These mesh lines can be used to manipulate color transition on the object. This tool can be used to add gloss effect, creating gradient mesh, or blending colors. The mesh tool is located here on the toolbar. I have drawn a simple circle here on the artboard to show you the working of the mesh tool. So go on and select the mesh tool, and now when you move your mouse over to the object, the cursor will change to a plus sign. Now click here. This will create mesh lines which crisscrosses each other. You can add multiple mesh lines just by clicking anywhere on the object. So if I click here, another set of mesh lines are created, and clicking on any existing line, say this vertical line, will create a horizontal mesh line, and clicking on a horizontal mesh line will create a vertical mesh line. You will notice that nothing is happening to this object because the color of the object is same as the mesh. So if I change the fill, let's say this lighter green, you will see the difference. This point is called the mesh point, and these enclosed region are called the meshed region, and these points are handle, which allows you to change the curve of the mesh line. You can also delete the mesh point if you like. Just take your cursor to the mesh point that you want to remove and now press Option or Alt key, and when the cursor changes to show a minus sign, just click to delete the point. You can also move the mesh point if you like. Just click and drag. This will move the mesh lines. The direct selection tool can also be used to move the mesh points. The mesh tool can add nice effects to your artwork, and it takes some practice to master. Just try to use the mesh tool and color setting on different objects until you are comfortable using it. The hand tool can be used to pan around an artboard. It is located here in the toolbar, which looks like a hand. You can press H to activate this tool as well. Now after selecting it, you just have to click and move the mouse to pan. You can also press spacebar, which will activate the hand tool. So if I choose the selection tool and press spacebar, the hand tool will be selected. So hand tool can be used to reset the artboard to default size. For this, just double click on the hand tool. This will reset the artboard to its original size. Next is the zoom tool. The zoom tool can be activated by pressing Z or Z on the keyboard, or you can click here to activate it. Now just click and drag over the area that you want to zoom up. And if you press Alt or Option key, you can zoom out.